Hello everyone, my name is Rituro. Welcome back to Project Fire Sale, where we burn it to the ground, gut it, build it back up, and try and get a bad team back into the playoffs. Well, we're 0 for 2. Unfortunately, we're not able to push the Colorado Rapids out of the basement in the West and into the playoffs. We did get them out of the basement, though, by 2 points, being right in the mixer of teams fighting for that last playoff spot. Unfortunately, we were just not able to get into it. As you may recall from our last episode, we ended on a high, though, with that win over Toronto, which put us on 40 points, level with Dallas and RSL, but losing out on the tiebreakers of wins. RSL and Dallas then separated by goals scored as the next tiebreaker. Vancouver in the basement this year, which is not good, but I will not be playing as Vancouver. No, I will be playing as Philadelphia, the Union, 28 points. Rock bottom of the Supporters' Shield table. Followed by Atlanta, and then Vancouver, then DC. So it was very nearly, now this is almost the polar opposite of what we're seeing in the real-life Major League Soccer season. 2 match days in, Atlanta are cruising fairly well for expansion side, and Minnesota are just absolutely tanking it. Lost 5-1 on opening day, 6-1 this past match day. Just a horrible time in the real world for Minnesota. In FM, though, they are comfortably in second in the West, ahead of Seattle and San Jose, and just behind Sporting Kansas City. Sporting, to summarize this 2017 season, Sporting set an MLS record with the first ever MLS treble. That's right, Sporting. Let's take a look at this here. Competitions and senior squad. I can't see from the previous year, unfortunately, but rest assured, yeah. They won MLS Cup. They won the Supporters' Shield. They won the US Open Cup. So the treble, the first team in MLS history to pull the treble. And they did it here. So a very dominant and successful campaign for Sporting Kansas City. I do want to point out, though, Chicago, the team that I built for 2016, wins the East with more or less the lineup that I left them with. Campbell, Jones, Thiam, Grabavoy, Akam, Deliu, Villarreal, Bush, Dobrowolski, who got re-upped, good for him, Molino, Law, Thompson, Alvarado. They made a few additions, but nothing so big. Kabelhoff's still there. Ivanovic was injured for most of the season, so he didn't contribute that much. Cavallini still banging them in. So yeah, I pretty much still can claim some responsibility for Chicago winning the East. So, you're welcome there, Chicago. But getting back to Colorado, we did manage to get a few neat little landmarks here. Specifically, there's a new Best 11. The all-time Best 11 now features Kevin Doyle, Marco Papa, Zach Pfeffer, Paul Arriola. Arriola makes it in on his first season, as does Gershon Kofi. I'm surprised Pfeffer got in ahead of Shkels and Gashi, who isn't even in the overall 18. Figure that out if you can. Hollingshead, Lorenowitz, Jones, and Harrison. So Jermaine Jones makes it in as a central back. With the side of Lorenowitz. Harrison outright, well, that makes sense. On the bench, Marcelino Navarro, Mikael Williams, Sebastian Letou, Dylan Cerna, Facundo Perazza, Matt Mills, and Dominique Badji. Interesting that Perazza gets in with 3 goals on 13 appearances and 6.68. I wouldn't get him anywhere near the best 11, but the game decided he was worth the overall best 11, so there you go. Looking at the seasonal best 11, this should surprise nobody. Howard, Williams, Lorenowitz, Mills, Williams, the 2 Williamses, Kofi and Cronin, Arriola, Pfeffer, Papa, Doyle up front, Navarro, Mazzino, Hollingshead, Gashi, Letou, Miller, and Perazza. Miller's a bit of a surprise, but considering how clutch he was as a serviceable, if not amazing, just a serviceable fullback, it's not too surprising. Got a goal in the last campaign, good for him. And that is where Eric Miller sits. So that more or less is Colorado. Cronin got Player of the Year. Pfeffer got Young Player of the Year. Kofi got Goal of the Year. And Winnell, since Sam Winnell came in on a free, was considered the best signing. Considering he banged in a few goals, that makes sense. At that price point, I can understand that. Looking at the individual MLS awards themselves, if we go to the Major League Soccer, where is it here? The Shield. There it is. All right. We go to the awards. Diego Rubio, comeback player of the year for Sporting Kansas City. Oh, not the headlines. Try that again. Goalkeeper of the year, John Kempin. Sean Johnson comes in second. Defender of the year, Harrison Affle, the Ghanaian wingback for Columbus, or fullback as the game decides to put him in. The MVP, Gonzalo Veron, 28 appearances, 22 goals and 4 assists, 7.35 average. No shocker there. Brad Davis second, Fernando Adi in third. Best 11, Veron, Adi, Piatti up front, Aleman, Alonso, Davis, and Zardes in the middle, and Nice, Simon, and Ellis along the back line. Just saying that Apple, despite being Defender of the Year, is nowhere near the best 11s. I figured that one out if you can. And Bill Hamid in goal. Coach of the Year, no surprise there. Carl Craig, doing amazing things with Minnesota. Peter Vermees, second for winning the treble, though. That's an interesting justification to make. And somehow Zico gets third for taking the team that I built in Chicago to the Eastern Championship. Apparently, I don't even get a consideration there. Not that I'm bitter. Goal of the Year, Jordan Morris in a Cascadian Derby match. Yeah, that'll get you noticed. Fernando Adi gets the golden boot with 23 and 34. Veron and Ramirez following him up. Newcomer of the Year, Branislav Ivanovic. 18 appearances was enough for him to get a Newcomer of the Year. Not sure how that quite works out. Brahim Alaman in second. That would have been my pick, personally. And then Najilo Ahmad over at the Pigeons. Rookie of the Year, Ishmael Akande. Or Akanade, I'm sorry. 23-year-old Irish RSL striker. 6 goals and 14. That's pretty solid for a rookie campaign. Humanitarian of the Year, Brad Davis. For reasons. De Oliveira, Ref of the Year, followed by Penso and Geiger. Dio Fagundes, not a single card to his name in 37 appearances. And the team fair play, DC United. No surprise there. Alright, so that's how the league shook out. Sporting, of course, winning that treble. Can I look at the matches? Yes, they 3-0 final over Columbus. Absolutely dominant. No real shocker there that they would have crushed all comers. But yeah, it was pretty much Sporting's to lose, and they did not. So good job, Sporting Kansas City. So that is the season that was. Let's look at the season that's coming. I am at the head now of the Philadelphia Union. Our first friendlies in 34 days, so we won't get to that in this episode. We'll save that for later. Right now, we're just in building mode. As you can see, we've got plenty of things on the ins and the outs going on here. And you probably see that Atiba Hutchinson is in this list of names, and he is coming to us from Besiktas for a not insignificant amount of money. We'll get to that in just a moment. But I want to show you here just how horrible this squad was. A lot of these players were absolute hot garbage. You can see now I've moved some into the starting and sub lineup. But before, all told, between starters and subs, I had 8 players worth keeping around from the previous regime. Everything else, garbage. So this will definitely be the most comprehensive overhaul of the 3 teams that we've attempted to rebuild in Project Fire Sale. No team has received this much gutting, ever. Josh Saunders, getting rid of him. Ray Gaddis, goodbye. Anthony Wallace, no. Joe Maguire is in on trial. I'm not overly certain he's going to be a decent backup, but we've got to bid in maybe on the cheap. If he's willing to play on the cheap, sure. We'll see if he actually accepts it. Austin Trusty, no. Seth Hodge, no. Eric Ayuk, no. Fabian Herbers, no. Roland Alberg, if we were playing a formation that justified his skill set on 9.5 a week, sure. But no. And Chris Ireland is out on loan. Already determined we have no use for that young striker, so he's out on loan to get some further minutes. Maybe we can sell him on, who knows. Maybe we can. Not really caring about it. But the moves that have been made, as you can see, have been pretty decent. We've kept Andre Blake, Keegan Rosenberry, David Edgar. I'm not overly certain he'll survive the season. It's an international spot we could free up, such as the peril of playing with an American team. But for now, Edgar is a starting center back. We'll see if we can change that. Alejandro Bedoya. Cole Grossman. We had to make quite the deal to get Cole Grossman. Andres Ivanchitz is so far is staying around. At that money, at that age, he will likely be moved on if we can find a buyer. Those contracts until 2019 will have to be a good buyer. Danny Casillas is sticking around for depth for now. I mean, 17. Kid's pretty good. And he was with our academy. I brought him up from... As you know, I've got a soft spot for bringing up the academy kids. What can I say? And I figure that right out of the academy, the 17-year-old, yeah, let's get him into the first team. Get him some minutes. On the bench, Kevin George, Brian Meredith. Decent depth options behind Blake. Josh Yarrow on the right. Richie Marquez in the center. Those are pretty good depth options as far as I'm concerned. I'm trying to retrain Yarrow as a center back. Then we could put him in beside Rosenberry. That would be nice. Marquez, Kip Colby, who has his green card, which is nice. Kevin Kratz, for now, is in as a depth center mid / D mid. Though, I'm open to moving him. I'm not going to say no to it. Steve Martinez, another kid who, yeah, he could get some minutes. Brandon Allen, depth option for us. Charlie Davies, if he can focus on being a forward as opposed to a winger, I'm okay with keeping him as depth. And Brian Meredith is our third goalkeeper. So the depth options are there. It's the upfront starting options that we need because we've decided to go back to the 4-4-2 narrow diamond. This, as for those of you who've been watching these series for a long time know, this is my default formation. This is whenever I don't know what to do, this is what I try and plug and play players into. It's worked more often than it hasn't. It all depends on where you can get the players and if they will do what you tell them to do. And the 4-4-2 narrow diamond has, especially in the center of the park, enough flexibility if you're playing with a team on a budget, which we are, to make players shift around and work. This is why our big trade for Cole Grossman is so massive. 28-year-old American. He can play in the middle. He can play as a playmaker. He can play as a D-mid. In all cases, he is a playmaker. With the exception of playing as a regista. So he can do pretty much everything I ask him to do. He is a massive, massive piece of the midfield beside Bedoya, or in front or behind. Let's be honest, he can play whatever I tell him to play. And at 4 stars at 28, in his prime, yeah, I'm pretty excited about having him. Now, what did I have to get rid of to get him? Well, let's just take a look, shall we? We had to do so far in this offseason. We drafted, of course, Colby Allen. We actually put up Davies and we basically raided San Jose. Whether that's good or not, we will see. Tribbett's already been sent to the Galaxy. Mizimo and Washington have been sent out. Moadu has been sent to FC Juarez for a little bit under his value, but whatever. Got a decent price for Walter Restrepo. Quite happy with that. So we're already offloading a bit. 1.3 million in sales. Well, let's look at the trades here. All trades. We sent Derek Jones to Atlanta for a second pick in the 3rd round. We sent CJ Sapong to LA for a first round pick. Much better. It's not the first overall pick, but we'll get to that. We sent Ilzinho, Chris Pontius, and Cedric Babwati. A massive haul to Orlando for Grossman, but consider that Ilzinho is an aging fullback, but he's more, let's be honest here, of a winger, which I don't use in this formation. I'm cool with losing that. Sent Pontius, again, winger. I'm cool with losing that. And Babwati, again, a winger. I'm cool with losing that. I ditched 3 players, making not insignificant money in a positions I don't plan on using for a core piece in Cole Grossman. I'm cool with that trade. But Orlando was like, he'll never pay this. Oh, no. I pay. We then sent an in-slot, Tam, and DC's first-round pick to Seattle for their first-round pick. Hang on, no, wait. Sorry, I'll say that again. We sent our first-round pick. No, we didn't. We sent an international... I can read this, I swear. An international slot and Tam to Seattle for their first-round pick. Great trade. So we have 2 first-round picks. We then went back to Orlando. They sent us a first-round pick and GAM, general allocation money, for that first-round pick. We then sent both of our first-round picks and our 4th-round pick to New England for that first overall pick. So we picked up a first overall pick. We got general allocation money. and we ditched some TAM for CJ Sapong. Not too shabby. Not bad wheeling and dealing, if I'm honest. I'm quite happy with that. Made a bit of money, got the first overall pick, and we've got some decent options to choose from, too, in the upcoming Super Draft. Let's just take a look here at the upcoming draft. So this is the Super Draft. As it stands, you can see the kids all going through their paces here. You can see some Canadians even made it. Quite happy about that. Look at the scouting details here. There are some pretty decent options in this scouting class. Some GAs as well. There's a good depth goalkeeper that we can pick up here on the cheap. Richie Torres could be a good center back. But this Mark Little kid is pretty darn solid. His jumping is horrible, but he's a poacher. And young poacher on the cheap, yeah, that's right up my alley right there. I am, now that I'm going to be here, take a little closer look at all of these kids, a little bit more. Because we're closing in on draft day. So let's just take a look at you guys for another couple weeks here, just so that we know what we're getting. I'm pretty sure I know who we're going to focus on. But I think it's fair to say that you can never be too prepared when it comes to the Super Draft. Darren Davis is also a potential option for us. Sort of slide in his depth. But again, depth is not really what we're looking for at this point. We're looking for starters. We're looking for people who can actually play. And that is a big, big, big thing for us right now. As it stands, those are our best MLS-ready options. As it stands, Mark Little could likely be the guy. So let's talk about the players that will be joining them. As I mentioned, we're looking for MLS-ready starters. And we did make some moves to address that. We have Roland Alberg with a $1.9 million option on the table from Havre Athletic. So I'm hoping we get that option through, because that'd be an awesome $1.9 million. That would pay for the arrival of Pietro Visconti from Trapani. Starting left back. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about having a starting left back. Italian. No caps. But he's only making $7.5 a week with Trapani. Or Trapani, I should say. That's about... We have to take a decent salary in that range. Seti Bay. Hasn't played in Serie A. But he can play wing back as well. And that's good. I like this option on the left back. At least I hope I will. On a free, Angel Luna from Sudamerica. Argentinian. 28. You can see a theme here. I'm not doing the usual thing that I do when I build a team and go for the kids that I can develop. Because again, the point is to get a team back into the playoffs first time round. He's making next to nothing. We're getting him on a free. He's a good, solid presence in the midfield. He's a playmaker. Effectively, I'm trying to force Ivanschitz out of a job. But if I can't, I gotta keep both of them around. Oh well. I'm not exactly gonna cry over that. Let's try that again. And then, of course, in the middle, I wanted another solid midfield presence. Someone could really hold the team together. Atiba Hutchinson is that guy. Yeah, we're basically going to shove Atiba Hutchinson onto the back line. Say, Atiba, welcome home. Please keep our team together. Oh yeah, this is going to be a good time right here. This is going to be good. And then up front, here's the big one from Monterrey, Rogelio Funes Mori. $4.4 million. I basically blew every penny that Philly had pinched from their previous season's transfers, including getting rid of Tranquilo Barnetta, which, go figure. I asked the board to ask MLS for some cash so we could pull this off. And they said, yeah, okay. Massive, massive talent. 4 stars, potential room to grow. He big. We want him. Good finishing, good heading, good passing. He's a big, big guy up front. And I figure we can do a little bit of retraining and get him to be an even better all-round striker. And again, he's played with the U20s at 26 years old. He's played with the Mexican First Division. He's played in the Club World Championship, and he's not looked bad in any of those. 27 goals in 59 appearances for Monterrey is not a bad strike record. Spent some time on loan. Hasn't done as well. But I have faith this move to MLS will be just the kick in the pants he needs, and he can really find that vein of form. He's got winner's medals to his credit. He's won cap internationally. Goodness knows, I would not say no to him finding his form with us. He's making a lot of money. He's a DP. But I'm pretty happy that we got him on $4.4 million. I think he's valued at $7.5. So we got him on a bargain. I'm quite happy with that. Now, the one final thing I want to point out here is, of course, new gens are here. New gens have arrived. They're generally speaking kind of horrible. Nobody good showed up on Bethlehem Steel. The Union Academy, like I said, we already rated the best prospect they have. The next best, probably Lee Taylor, followed by Luis Glazer. Glazer, of course, is a center playmaker. I've already got those out the wazoo, so I don't really need to pull him up. Taylor's a winger. We aren't playing with those, so we probably won't be bringing him in. But good to know that the Union Academy is stocked. So that's your summary of the 2017 and preview of the 2018 seasons. Next time, for our next episode, we're going to go right into the preseason for the Philadelphia Union. As you can see, we've booked some... Let's try that again. We've booked some decent friendlies. America de Cali, Deportivo, Azogues, Atlético Nacional. Got some good stuff with some MLS teams. And we opened against the treble-winning Sporting Kansas City. So we're going to go ahead and check in on the Richmond Kickers. Right in the middle of our preseason. We'll see if we've learned anything. That'll be next time on Project Fire Sale. My name is Rituro. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you like what you've seen, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, favorite. Tell your friends about these videos on YouTube. Don't forget to join us in Twitch chat, twitch.tv/Rituro, where all these episodes are recorded live. Hope to see you there. My name is Rituro. You're watching Project Fire Sale. We'll see you for the match against the Richmond Kickers.